Hello, dear friends. Love heals and restores everything that is torn or wounded. Opinion piece. The grand finale. The outcome. It will be biblical. Forecast for June. It's going to be epic. Prophesied endgame. The conspiracy game. Calm before the storm. There are no coincidences. June brings a different energy. Fulfilment of ancient prophecies. The puppets have changed hands. The storm could arrive at the end of June. Let's start. The divine convergence of the grand finale will be biblical. According to Guardian Daniel, the world is experiencing far more than a geopolitical shift or a behind-the-scenes strategic realignment of power. What is unfolding before the eyes of an awakening humanity is the literal fulfillment of the most monumental promise of the phrase from the unspeakable scripture. It's going to be biblical. In this final act, the unstoppable coalition operation, the global awakening of the masses, and the profound spiritual ascension of humankind merge into a single grand indivisible tapestry, the ultimate triumph of light over thousands of years of darkness. The connection between earth strategy and biblical prophecy forms the basis of this project. The battle against the dark side is not being conducted as a mere political conflict, but as the prophesied endgame between good and evil. Biblical darkness represents the corrupt elite who held humanity captive through debt-based financial slavery, engineered diseases, and systematic deception. In this scenario, the coalition acts as the executive instrument of a higher divine justice. Every legal measure is the anticipated application of a cosmic law that dictates that truth must ultimately prevail. The Great Awakening is the necessary purification process. Humanity is being led to the brink of the abyss through the impending shock event, the staged scenario of a third world party, and the controlled collapse of the old financial matrix. This moment of maximum upheaval serves a higher purpose. It is designed to cleanse human souls, stripping them of centuries of mental hypnosis and making them receptive to absolute truth. When the emergency broadcasting system takes control of the frequencies, it will collapse not only the corporate press monopoly of information, but also the spiritual captivity of human civilization. What awaits humanity after this storm is a collective spiritual ascension into a new age of light. This grand matrix makes it clear that the coalition's physical intervention is merely the outer shell of a profound internal transformation of humanity. The era of separation, fear, and oppression is ending. We stand on the threshold of the fulfillment of ancient prophecies, entering a golden age where humanity lives in absolute transparency, infinite abundance, and direct alignment with its divine sovereignty. The script is written, the coalition is executing, and it has already won the light. I understand the frustration and impatience, as I have experienced it myself. However, my focusing on feeling gratitude for what you have seen with your own eyes, and for the simple truth that you are still alive to witness this transition, you will see and experience it more clearly than when your head is clouded by thoughts and emotions. Keep your chin up and be kind even to those who are unable to adapt and see that change is necessary, especially if they are close to you. It's a challenge, I know, but it's these moments that build character, and many people today lack character. So breathe, prepare, and wait. Revealing June. June is a revealing and preparatory month before Maya shifts, according to Joseph Tittle. He describes this month as the calm before the storm. In his view, after months of rapid change and emotional intensity, June brings a different energy marked by revelation, and a deeper understanding of events. This month corresponds to a universal 7th month in numerology, within a universal 1 year, which highlights the search for truth, intuition, reflection, and the discovery of hidden information. Tittle indicates that this period invites us to pause, question established beliefs, and distinguish between reality and illusion. Tittle speaks of a month conducive to spiritual growth, meditation, and listening to intuition. He warns that ignoring these signs can generate a feeling of disconnection. He recommends not forcing answers, but listen to your body, mind, and spirit, and take advantage of the time for calming activities like spending time outdoors, as the storm is expected at the end of the month. Regarding world events and psychic visions, he mentions developments in media, communication systems, technology, and security. He indicates that revelations will emerge that will change public perception, leading to a review of information and strong emotional reactions. He highlights specific dates like June 7th and warns about the need to be attentive to shifts in narratives and hidden truths. Astrologically, he mentions Mercury entering Cancer at the beginning of the month, a new moon in Gemini that activates communication and collective narratives. Mars entering Gemini toward the end of the month, accelerating events, and Mercury retrograde coinciding with the full moon in Capricorn at the end of the month. These influences challenge that what we think we know, and many lead us to reconsider previous decisions. Jupiter enters Leo on the last day of June, opening a new chapter of creativity and expressions. Doubles. According to Mr. Kitbull 17th, world leaders were cloned in 1997. A double takes 14 months to mature in an accelerated growth chamber. The transfer of consciousness takes an additional 72 hours. The process isn't perfect, and the clone retains 94% of the original's memory architecture. The remaining 6% manifests as subtle behavioral changes. Observe any world leader since 1998. Look for the change. Their speech patterns have shifted slightly. Their gestures have transformed, and their eyes have lost something indefinable. The public has noticed, but they attribute it to aging, stress, or the weight of the office. Why replace them? Because the originals have free will, develop consciousness, and sometimes refuse to obey orders. An original leader could wake up one morning and tell the truth, could decide to expose the system, and could decide to serve the people instead of the controllers. A clone doesn't have that risk. A clone's conscience is programmed during the transfer, loyalty parameters are embedded at a neurological level. A clone follows its programming like a computer follows code. It cannot deviate or rebel, nor can it decide differently. Every leader who was replaced had shown signs of independence, of questioning, of developing a conscience that threatened the agenda. The replacement was always preceded by a brief health scare, a vacation, or a period of reduced public appearances, with 2 or 3 weeks of absence. Then they return looking the same, sounding almost the same, but slightly different. The signs are biological. Clones age 3 times faster than the originals due to telomere degradation from accelerated growth. A leader who appears to age 15 years in a single 4-year term is not suffering from job stress. Their cellular structure deteriorates faster than natural biology allows. Their earlobes change, and their dental structure is altered. Their hairlines don't match. The internet is full of comparison photos that people dismiss as conspiracy theories. The coalition identified 67 world leaders operating as doubles. This was confirmed through carefully obtained DNA analysis comparing current biological samples with archived samples from before the replacement period. 34 of them were removed from power through resignations, elections, or health emergencies. The programming of the remaining 33 doubles has been overridden by cyber teams from the Benevolent Coalition, who gained access to the control frequencies in 2022. The doubles still walk, talk, and appear on television, but they no longer follow the original programming. Instead, they follow the coalition's orders. The leaders you see are not the ones you elected, but those who control them now are not the ones who created them. The puppets have changed hands. Observe the eyes, the aging, and the subtle changes. You've seen it for years. Now you know what you were seeing. Reset News. The world is changing drastically, and there is nothing anyone can do to alter the course of events, according to Poet Dog. Pam Bondi testified behind closed doors about the Epstein files and admitted to editing mistakes. She revealed dozens of names, blamed 2 lower-ranking men, and refused to answer 14 questions. This isn't about exposing the victims, but about sending a message to 11 people who believed their names would never be revealed. 3 of them hold positions in European governments. There is a list, not long, but each name on it has a deadline. June 15th is not a release date. It is a surrender date. Those who come forward before that date will be offered terms. Those who don't will be identified in a format that cannot be edited, retracted, or denied. The extraction phase has begun. On Monday, SpaceX received a classified $2.29 billion contract to build 600 satellites for a project called Golden Dome. On Thursday, the only rocket capable of competing with SpaceX exploded on the launch pad. The official cause, anomaly under investigation in quotes. The explosion was not a failure, but the elimination of the last alternative. At this point, there are no coincidences. The Golden Dome is not a missile shield. The contract stages, in quotes, high security cryptographic capability to securely house classified payloads and process data. That is not defense, but an alternative communication system with classified encryption and global coverage that will become operational on June 12. Only one system will transmit the signal when the old networks are taken offline. It's already in orbit, it's funded, and it's built. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.